Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and today I wanted to talk about the Heir Apparent LMG in Destiny 2 and why I think this is going to be one of the best weapons to use next season. If you don't have it, you need to get this as soon as possible. Now, if you missed last week's TWAB, which was a long one, so I wouldn't be surprised if you might not have seen everything, LMGs are getting a massive buff. Outside of Xenophage and Grand Overture, we're going to see a 40% buff for LMGs versus space enemies and a 20% buff during versus bosses as well, which is absolutely huge and is badly needed because LMGs have not been really viable in quite some time in Destiny, and that's really unfortunate because there's a lot of really good ones available. Now, being that it wasn't specifically listed, we know that Heir Apparent is going to get this buff, and that is huge for several reasons. First and foremost, we know that Solar 3.0 is coming, and once it does come, Heir Apparent is Solar and is going to greatly benefit from Solar 3.0, just like Void weapons benefited this season from Void 3.0, not only with the synergy with the subclasses, but also with some of the mods that'll come alongside as well. Now, we don't know exactly what's coming, so we're gonna have to wait and see before we have our full breakdown of everything that we know is going to benefit Heir Apparent. But this is just my speculation on why this will be very, very good. It doesn't do a lot of damage now, but it has the potential to do insane damage, especially against basic mob enemies. And if it can start shrekking champions and other harder enemies as well, we're going to see it really start to shine, especially with its overshield, pairing it with Solar 3.0 exotics, and also pairing it with the Actium War Rig as well can be very, very good. Now, one of the main issues you have with it is ammo, but if you're honestly able to melt enemies a bit faster, then that will no longer be one of your concerns, which is a big step in the right direction. If you didn't know how to obtain this, you can get the Heir Apparent and the Catalyst from Guardian Games, which launches next week. And that's very exciting as well because it will be readily attainable for a lot of people, which is awesome. Now, unfortunately, I've been testing this weapon out right now in PvE, and it just does not do what you would want it to do. It's just underwhelming. I've used it in Nightfalls and other content, and it's just not there yet. However, I can see the potential of this being very good once it does get some buffs. 40% against PvE enemies is huge, especially if you start looking at yellow bars. 20% against champions could be an absolute game changer and something that I think will greatly benefit this weapon, and not only that, but finally make LMGs viable in a way that they haven't been. Now, is this going to be as good as something like Galahorn, which is also going to benefit from the Solar 3.0 buffs? That's a massive question. What we'll have to wait and see is whether this will get the same type of season that grenade launchers, rocket launchers, glaives this season, the other mods that those weapons have gotten as well, to make them really strong. Because if so, if it gets the benefit of not only a massive buff, but also mods that benefit it, and also Solar 3.0, all of that combined will lead to this being one of the best weapons in the game, at least for next season, if not longer, depending on how long the mods last and which weapons are able to shine with the available mods. Now, again, it's a weapon that, from using it now, I just wish it was better because it's very fun to use, and I have really enjoyed my time testing it out and seeing how well it stacks up. At this point, it just doesn't, honestly. It just doesn't really do it for me. And I don't know anybody that's used it since it launched, besides memeing around a little bit and having a good time. Now, that's not to say it's a useless weapon. It's just not viable compared to a lot of its other alternatives, you know what I'm saying? And that's unfortunate. Because as an exotic, man, you just wish that it would be top of the line compared to just standard weapons. I mean, legendary LMGs haven't really had a place to shine either. So it's not like it's outclassed by any legendary LMGs. It's just not really all that great in any type of content, and that's unfortunate. Now, for a while there, it was actually pretty nasty in PvP as a heavy weapon because of the overshield and how strong it was. But that's also been nerfed a little bit, and we don't really see it as much as you once would have. So, again, my hope is that this really makes not only Heir apparent, but other LMGs viable. I'd love to start using legendary LMGs. I'd love to pair them with other options, because if I have an LMG for ad clear, but I'm able to pair that with something like, you look at, I mean, a wide number of things from Arbalist, Lorentz, weapons like that can be really good. You really want to have multiple options, and that's really in a meta that I prefer. The more options for viability as far as endgame content, the better. I don't want there to be just one or two options that are very, very good. I want there to be a ton of options, and that's just not the case right now, with basically only a few different items being completely relevant at any given time. Again, we'll have to wait and see. I know, judging from the TWABs, they're looking to really shake things up, which I think is cool. I think there's a lot of potential there, and I'm hopeful that we're going to see it come to fruition, because if that's the case, I am all in. I'm going to be using this nonstop, and you heard it here first that the Heir apparent LMG is absolutely going to be meta next season. Now, you don't have to believe me, but trust me, I've called a few of the recent changes on what's going to be good, what's going to be bad, and this is one that I'm calling right now, and I think it's absolutely going to be top tier, if I had to guess. Especially, you look at here in the Sun Warrior, like the damage difference when I'm in Sun Warrior is so vast that I think that's why I think it's going to pair so well with something like Solar 3.0, because we already know they're not getting rid of Sun Warrior. If anything, it might get buffed compared to where it was at. And so having the overshield, having Sun Warrior, I just feel like you're not gonna die. And not only are you not gonna die, but you're also going to just melt everything that comes across your path, which is rather huge. So for this build that I made, I actually paired it with Phoenix Cradle, because I do think eventually Lorelei Splendor is going to get nerfed, and I really firmly believe that Phoenix Cradle is going to be the next man up when it comes to which weapons are top tier, or which exotic armors for the Titan are top tier with something like Solar 3.0. I think it's going to be amazing, so keep that in mind as well. I know we don't know for sure what's going to be great, but it's good to kind of speculate and get ready for it, at the very least. If you don't already have this weapon, I highly recommend you get it as soon as possible, because it is worthwhile. It will be a lot of fun. At the very least, it's going to be good, if not the best thing in the game once Solar 3.0 does hit, once next season hit with those buffs. Anyway, my name is JoPaWrites. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good, kind of good stuff, and I'll catch you all later.